Coming up, we're going to be talking about a brand new Valentine special of the Solar Opposites. Also, we'll be talking about Deadpool 3 and also Elemental being the most watched film on streaming in 2023. But before we go any further, make sure you do hit that subscribe button to keep up with the latest Disney Plus news. Hi, it's Roger here from What's On at DisneyPlus.com. Quick Disney Plus news roundup. Let's start off talking about Deadpool 3 because filming has finally wrapped on this upcoming film, which is due out at the end of July in cinemas. So the filming has been all over the place really because of the strikes of last summer. They're over here in the UK filming it, and then suddenly the strikes kicked in, so then therefore they had to stop. They were able to kind of restart at the end of last year, but Ryan Reynolds has taken to social media and confirmed that the wrap has now finished, and so they've done the filming. There was also a picture put up by Hugh Jackman sort of showing off him kind of cutting off his famous chops, so that's kind of going to be interesting to see how all this comes together. So the film obviously is coming out in July. Now the good thing really is I expect it's still going to be able to make its release date because they probably were doing a lot of the post-production stuff while the strikes were on and getting things ready. So it's not a case of now they've got to do all the post-production, all the special effects and stuff. They've probably been working on that for quite a while. But yeah, so I think this is definitely something to be looking forward to. Ryan Reynolds' social post was quite weird in the fact of just sort of showing a picture of his crotch in his suit, talking about the sweat and blood and stuff. So definitely great to see that this film has done. This is going to be the only MCU film we see in cinemas this year. We're still going to be getting 3 Sony films, but let's be honest, we don't count them. And I don't think Madam Web's gonna... That movie just looks awful. But yeah, so that's gonna be the big one. But yeah, let us know. Are you excited about the return of Deadpool? I suspect we're gonna see our first look at Deadpool 3 during the Super Bowl, which is coming up in a couple of weeks' time. But yeah, let us know if you're excited. Let us know in the comments below. Keeping with the R-rated, we're gonna be talking now about Solar Opposites because we've got a new Valentine special dropping on to Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus in the United States and also Disney Plus in Canada on Monday the 5th of February. No word yet if it's going to be coming out on Disney Plus in the UK and Ireland and in Australia. I suspect it's going to be coming pretty soon because let's be honest, this is a Valentine special. There's only a small window of opportunity to put that one out. So we got our first look at this one here. The trailer dropped and basically they get annoyed at love, so they end up kind of removing love from the planet, and obviously that doesn't go down so well, and it's a world event, and yeah, all kind of chaos ends up happening. Looks like a load of parrots end up trying to take over the world, and there's only one way that they can stop and bring back some love. There's also some kind of weird thing going on with Hawaiian shirts that they have to get rid of. I'm going to say that's not cool because I do like my Hawaiian shirts. But yeah, so this definitely, I love the Solar Opposites. I think it's a fun series, and I definitely feel like the aspect of having them as aliens allows them to kind of just do weird, random stuff that you just could not get away with in shows like Family Guy or Simpsons. So looking forward to seeing this one when it drops. But let's know, excited about Solar Opposites Valentine special? Love to hear your thoughts on that in the comments below. Let's now talk about the success of Pixar's Elemental. Now, last year it got released in cinemas and had a really bumpy start with one of the lowest box office openings for any Pixar film. It was able to recover through the word of mouth. It was able to pull in over $500 million worldwide, putting it into the idea of it being profitable, and generally just took the sting off of it. It's been nominated for an Oscar this week. It's been nominated for a number of things. I really enjoyed the film. I thought it was really good. But that's not all, because, you know, we can measure success not just on box office, but on other measures. And according to some new information from Nielsen, Elemental was the most watched film to be released on any streaming platform in 2023. Now, this is based on the first 14 days of release, and it was just ahead of the Netflix series Leave the World Behind, because Elemental had 32 million views over those first 14 days. Now, it is interesting to note, and I kind of want to put this one out there, was that the Super Mario Bros. Movie was a huge success at the box office, pulling in well over $1 billion, definitely a big hit. And it pulled in 28.1 million views over the first 14 days on Netflix. But it also got released on Peacock earlier in the year and pulled in 16.2 million. So actually, if you put the two together, technically they beat Elemental, because it did. But then that's two separate, so that's basically 4 weeks, had 2 releases. So therefore, yeah, we can't really count it. But interesting to see how, you know, Elemental being right up there really shows the power of the Pixar brand. It actually also shows why Pixar is still so important to Disney Plus, because this isn't the first time this has happened. We've seen it with Luca, and we've also seen it with Turning Red, where they are some of the most popular films to be released on any streaming platform. Yeah, and this is the kind of weird thing with Pixar. I know a lot of people put the pressure on the box office side of things, but it really does come to life when it gets put out on streaming services. And yeah, it's a huge hit for Disney Plus. Obviously, they want to try and get people back to the cinema and try and make some more money for them, because that's one way of looking at the success. But let's definitely not look at this as a bad thing. The fact that Elemental was the most popular new film on any streaming platform, beating Netflix. Now, they had a lot of entries in this chart. Also quite interesting, around about just under half of the films had been released in cinemas. Most of them were original films on Netflix. Netflix just seems, they've got that ability to reach a much bigger audience, because so many people have it, that they're able to get any of their films into it, whereas sort of Disney films, they kind of have a little bit harder thing because of going to cinema. Not only that, there were some other big successes for Disney Plus last year, because films like The Haunted Mansion pulled in 14.5 million views as well. The Little Mermaid was also really successful. Guardians of the Galaxy. So it's great to see how these films have really been a big hit on Disney Plus, and really shows how important it is for Disney. But let us know, did you watch Elemental on Disney Plus? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that in the comments below. And our comment of the day, which comes from Brendan, who says, "Hi Roger, I really want to ask you how you feel about the fast turnaround for Bad Batch Season 3, since Season 2 only came out last year, while there was a 2-year gap between 1 and 2. How do you feel about Ventress returning in the new season? Do you think it contradicts the novel Dark Discipline at all?" So I'll go first off with the Ventress thing. Not gonna lie, no idea, but I've not read the book. I've got no idea what's going on with this thing. And a lot of fans are upset with what's going on. Let's be honest, no one really in Star Wars dies. Everyone comes back at some point. It'll probably be explained. It could even be a flashback scene or something like, I don't know. But let's be honest, you know, death in Star Wars doesn't necessarily mean what you think it is. So yeah, I haven't read the book, so I don't know how all this is going to work out. So I'll just put that out there. But as far as the series kind of coming out so much quicker, I think, to be honest, it feels like work on Season 3 just started the second they finished Season 2. And while we saw Season 2 only released last year, they would have probably started work on Season 3 a lot earlier, because at last year's Star Wars Celebration, way back at Easter, we got to see some clips of the new series, and that was, you know, a long time. So they had already been working on this a long time. So they'd already planned it and were getting ready for it and preparing for it. So while it might feel much faster, I suspect work never really stopped from when the first one started. They probably just did all three just back to back to back. And therefore, that's why we've got them. It also shows the commitment to it, the fact of, you know, just that continued working, because a lot of times they'll make a show, wait, see how it does. I'm guessing they made that call with the ratings for the first one to then kind of come to the end at Season 3, because they were probably already working on it at that point. But yeah, I think that's the main reason why it's been able to carry on, because it gets in that fast turnaround of just a year, and that we saw so much of it last year very much indicates to me that it's been one of those shows that have been able to work on well. Hopefully we'll get some new shows coming up pretty soon, and kind of maybe explore a new era. It'd be nice for them to maybe do something maybe with some of the other films and stuff, and kind of maybe get away from filling in the gap between the trilogies and stuff, and set out some new stories and stuff, and allow us, so it's not always just based on cameos. That's my personal thing, because I think the Clone Wars and Rebels and stuff have all done a fantastic job of filling in the void between the two films, or between two film sort of trilogies, which shows you how, in some way, of how I always think of how the clone period, you know, when that ended, there was such a big gap, and, you know, obviously things getting set up and stuff. But yeah, I'd love to know your thoughts on all this. Remember to go check us out over at whatsondisneyplus.com. Like, follow, and subscribe, and I shall see you guys soon. Later.